And so I really
I
appreciate that.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
very
Already,
happy to
man.
be
Thanks
here.
for
I'm
you,
happy to be a
man.
part of it.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
more than happy to shoot bullets at the ignorant ass people that show up in your chat.
Oh man, thank
Like,
you,
oh my
bro.
god.
All right, so what's up, y'all? Today we are back for Pride Talks with the Dot Man. Today we have a special guest, man. We'd always have a special guest, but today is a special guest again. You know, it's my guy, my brother right here, man, Mr. J, man, Mr. CatDaddyJ, a dope person. Since I think I met him through, we have mutual friend Night Black. We have a lot of mutual friends now, you know, since we
do.
better acquainted. Yeah, so I want to welcome y'all, man. This is episode 2 of Pride Talks, man. Yeah, welcome. And here's Mr. CatDaddyJ. I'm going to be asking him questions. We're going to see some of his gameplay. And yeah, we're going to test his experience in Tekken, you know, 1v1. And we're also going to get to know a lot about him, man, his background, where he came from, and what he likes and stuff like that, man. So, yeah, Mr. J, you ready? You said you ready?
No, I'm not ready.
Let's go. He's ready.
I'm ready.
Let's get it. We ready, spaghetti, man. So,
Ready, spaghetti.
please, man, to start off with the interview, man, and the podcast. What's your name? I gave you a brief introduction, but what's your name? Where you're from? Not your real name. You know, you don't have to get.
I was gonna say, are we using our superhero names? Like,
no. What
oh,
you
we're
like
using
to
our
go
fake
by?
names?
What you like to go by? Where you're from? And of course, how long have you been playing Tekken, man?
Okay, so to start out with, I'm Mr. J, aka Mr. CatDaddyJ. I did have a previous name that I went basically by my PSN name. It's kind of a basic bitch at that time. I don't know if I should curse her.
No, you're good. No, you're good, man. Express yourself. Express yourself.
Yeah, so yeah, I had a name that I'd used, and I could tie that right into how long I've been playing Tekken. I started playing Tekken back in 2014, and that was when I showed up to Tekken Tag Tournament 2 scenes in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I'm originally from.
Okay.
And I wasn't very good at it online, but I wanted to learn and meet more people, so I showed up and basically went 0-2, 0-5. I got my ass kicked a lot. And at that time, you know, nobody really wanted to get to know me. I was just this goofy guy that showed up playing like Asuka, Bruce, Elisa, Roger Jr.
Roger Jr. is the kangaroo.
The kangaroo, yes. That was just the whole thought of playing as a kangaroo seemed really hilarious to me. So I thought, you know, I'll bust that out every once in a while.
Why not?
That game filled me with such rage.
I fucking hate Tekken.
That game is responsible for 2 controllers being broken, one a la being thrown from the 3rd floor of a building.
Wowzers.
And another one, I actually took the time to walk downstairs and took it by the wire and swung it like a mace, like the Morning Star. I was so mad at Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
On it.
Yeah, and that was definitely like a lowercase J moment, because I was unwilling to learn and put the time in. Yeah, but Mr. J came about as a different nickname. That name was bestowed upon me by 55. Keep that number in mind. 55 junior high to high school students. Back years ago, I used to actually teach Zumba.
Okay.
And so yeah, I can dance a little bit. Hey. I actually I had a woman once upon a time say it must be my black side that I'm good at dancing.
Hey.
I called her a racist bitch, but that's just me. No, I didn't say that to her. I didn't say that to her. But so I went and volunteered to teach at a YMCA for kids during the summertime. I was going to teach Zumba, all these kids, and guy that was coordinating was like, "Sure, come on in," you know. So I brought my setup in, and there's 55 kids standing in front of me. Now, you know, I'm kind of a short king. I'm not super tall. I'm average. I'm about 5'7", 5 and 2/4,
height.
whatever,
Okay. Yeah.
whatever. Right. So I'm a short king. But I come in, and most of these kids are bigger than me by like a long shot. 55 of them, just goofy boys and girls. And there was one like little tiny black kid that was like, "Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?" I'm like, "Okay, bro.
How you doing?"
So yeah.
Wendy Williams.
So yeah, like a dude, Kevin Hart looking ass dude, like a little ass kid. I don't know. But so I got everything set up, and you know, I stand up for all these kids, and I'm like, "Hey, you know, my name is Julian. That's my real name, and you can call me, you know, Mr. Jules, don't call me Mr. Freeman. That's my dad. My dad is still very much alive.
Right.
And so all these kids are kind of taking this in, and that short little Kevin Hart kid, I don't know what inspired this kid, but he goes, "We're gonna call you Mr. J," and he says that, and all 55 of these kids go nuts. They lose their fucking minds. It's Mr. J. Oh my god, we go dance, how the shit, let's go. And so we had a good time, but
That's what's up. Yeah.
that was how I kept that name.
Hey.
I mean, I had never seen such collective support like that from a group of kids. You know, kids are normally just like, your mom sucks, my dad can beat your dad up.
Right.
Not, you know, they synchronized all at once like a flock of birds.
That's what's up, man.
Yes. So
Little
that's
Kevin Hart's a natural born leader, man. I wonder what he's doing.
oh
these
my
days.
god. I don't know. Yeah, that was at least 5 years ago. You know, and I've taught other classes. You know, I've worked with adults. But, you know, I let it lapse a couple years ago, especially with COVID, so I decided not to go back to that.
Yeah, everybody quarantined and stuff.
Yeah, but I ended up sticking with Mr. J. I tried to actually get that on Twitch, and that name wasn't available in multiple forums. Like, I tried to type out Mr. J, and I was like, somebody actually named themselves Mr. J spelled out. That's
hey, someone snatched it up, man.
anyway, you know what I thought? Well, you know, I'm a cat daddy, so
it is.
You know, I'll do that too. Yeah, I mean, I got three bro cats. You know,
that's what's up, man. So I have a lot of things to piggyback on. You have an interesting origin story, especially for your name. Also, you said it was bestowed upon you, similar to your character, which we will get into later, from what I've known about you. But also, I like how you said that the Tekken made you rage. So not only are you an engineer like myself, but however, we also have another thing in common. Tekken makes us rage. So we know that I'm new to Tekken. Tekken 7 has started, the rage has started to take me
oh my
for
God.
a year and a half. You've been playing for a while. I know you mentioned Tekken Tag 2. Was that actually your first Tekken, or was there one before that? Did you play casually, or?
It wasn't my first exposure to Tekken or fighting games in general. So, you know, I'm an old millennial, right? A millennial classic, if you will. I actually got into fighting games by playing the original Mortal Kombat when it was released, and I was so little that it scared me. Like, I saw Sub-Zero do a fatality on Kano and rip his head out, and my eyes were like, my eyes got real big. I was scared, but then I played it and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. And that's kind of how the love for it started. But I really didn't super invest into fighting games until Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Mortal Kombat 10, I really enjoyed that. That's where I kind of learned about frames, and then Tekken 7 rolled around, and a lot of history with that too.
That's what's up, man. And I know also, man, I got to tease you about this, man. You know your name, MisterCatDaddyJ. You have some cats. But is it like a double meaning, man? I know you're doing the Zumba. Can you bust out the cat daddy? Not now, but can you do it? Are you capable? Are you capable, Mr. Cat Daddy J?
I am capable of doing that. I know quite a few moves. Some that you would expect, and some that you wouldn't expect. Okay, you know, I'm just gonna put it this way. I'm just gonna put it this way. I know how to move my hips. Okay, I am a man, and I know how to move, and I am not shy. I don't have to drink 18 beers to get there. So take that what you will. And yeah, you can pause that all you want, but I'm proud of that shit.
Oh yeah,
so.
You know they pause you in the chat.
Oh, I know. I'm getting bullet riddled by him at this point.
That's so funny, man. So you know you have a deep history with Tekken, man. You've been playing for a while. It's not your first one. But you're very good at this one, if I do say so myself. And
thank you.
Yeah, no problem. And considering that you've been playing for a minute, is this a game that you see yourself sticking with for the foreseeable future, especially with Tekken 8 on the horizon, or do you feel like you might try some other games? You know, I know you've been playing at Warhammer lately, so.
Yeah, my origins, at least as a gamer, extend far beyond the fighting game community. I've played multiple different genres. I've been down the path of playing MMORPGs obsessively, to the betterment or the worse of myself, right? I've played a lot of first-person shooters, all the way up until Call of Duty, Black Ops 3, Titanfall 2-ish is when I was really big. And I was pretty good at those. I was really good at those. But, you know, the whole formula can really be repetitive, and it gets old after a while. I stopped doing that. You know, I was like, okay, yeah, that's cool. I get to use another shotgun. Oh, I can run on walls now? That's cool. Like, oh, we're back to the Cold War? Cool. Like, you know, the formula is kind of the same. It's the same thing as playing like a basketball, you know, 2K sports games. the same damn thing, right? It's just different players and different stats, but the formula isn't.
Too much.
There isn't a huge deviation from that, right? There's an engineering word for you, deviation. Yeah. So, we're compliant. We're compliant.
We're compliant right here. So what keeps you? Oh, go ahead. I mean, go ahead.
To tie it into to what you had asked about, I do see my future continuing with Tekken 8. Really excited. As we know, the Lars trailer just dropped. It's spectacular. It is spectacular. Yeah, and I'll be looking at your reaction video on that. So
appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah, man.
Gotta come through and support the homie, you know.
Yes, sir.
You know.
Man. Yes, sir. You spoke of you mentioned shooters in basketball games, especially 2K. You know, I came from there before I started playing.
Yeah.
And So you're right. The basic formula stays the same. Deviates a little bit, but not much. But I want to ask you, how does, especially because Tekken's a legacy game, how do you feel that Tekken keeps you intrigued? Because one could argue that is very similar to the previous games and doesn't really change much. But how would you differ from that, or how would you beg to differ from that perspective?
So I've reflected on this very thought, right? Which is, why do you play something that you're basically, contained to 15, 20 maps, right, and it's just a simple number of characters, right? What makes that such a high replay value for a gamer? Why do people play this game so much like that? And I think about all the people that play like Overwatch. I have a buddy that obsessively plays that to this day. And you think about what Overwatch is, it's always the same thing every time.
Same thing.
But the human and hero variability makes it so different between each match, right? You may have different opponents that challenge you in a different way. Facts. And getting that win, especially like when you figure out the competitive element, which my background before, at least in tandem with gaming, is I was big on soccer. I played soccer all the way up to collegiate level. I even got to play in England for a little bit of time. I've been selected to do that.
Oh, so football. What position you played? Yeah.
I played center defender, which is, it's even funnier, because I was this short little kid, but I was fast. I was fast as fuck.
Beast on the pitch.
For that time in my life, I was. That is definitely not the J of today, though. But the competitive nature is what makes it worth it. You deal with opponents that challenge you. You get victories. I mean, everybody wants to win, but if you don't relish in the process of learning, if you don't relish in the challenge of, like, say, Pete, you'll probably know this because it's very fresh for you. The first time that you actually punished snake edge, some big block move, and you actually launched it, you got the correct combo, maybe even got the round of the game for that. You remember those moments, and those type of things are like crack,
Facts,
so
very addictive. Facts.
Yes, it is. That's so
funny. My bad. I'll keep looking down because I'm a dog daddy. You're a cat daddy. I'm a dog daddy, and my dog just came in here. So
hey, one of my cats has been visiting me nonstop at my feet, Terrence, so I understand. And of course, if I try to grab him, he's gonna bolt. He's gonna run.
Man. So there's a lot of satisfying moments in Tekken that keeps you going. And that's same with me, because similar to 2K, my competitive drive kept me going. Same with Call of Duty, kept me going. I wasn't that good at that game, but I was very good at 2K. With Tekken, it's a similar thing, right? So I have that foundation of competition, and I want to get better. I want not only competition with my opponent, but competition with myself. Like once I'm adapting to my opponent or learning how to properly punish or effectively deal with the move that I didn't know before. So it's constantly improving. And you being that Tekken is Tekken Tag 2, and even before that, and you said other fighting games, man, you're essentially, man, in my opinion, I know you might beg to differ, but you're essentially a pro, man. You go to locals, you compete there, you compete at a high level here, you teach me things. I know I'm not the only person that's been a beneficiary of your tutelage when it comes to Tekken. So speaking of, I mean, in light of that, is there a player, pro or recreational, that you feel like inspired you to not only get into Tekken, but also keep going in Tekken, or maybe in the direction that you're in, or maybe even with the character that you have chosen? Is there anybody that you could say that's influential in your Tekken journey?
Several at that, actually. JDCR was a big influence.
JDCR,
watching him switch to different characters and being very methodical.
Right.
And what's amazing, what's amazing with his development is he was, in the start of his career, he was not known as a very good player, or at least one that could clutch out moments like in really big matches. So he was constantly falling short on things. So seeing where he's at now as this kind of legendary, well, not kind of, he is a legendary player.
He is, man. For sure.
That's that, and he actually does play Master Raven. He is a Master Raven player. Yes. Wow. If you have not seen him play, there are videos of him playing Master Raven. When we get into like actual inspiration for Master Raven, one of the first people I started to watch was Tishumon. That's a Japanese player.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a former professional player. He doesn't really play on that level anymore.
Okay.
But his Raven play and the way he applies her tactics, her pressure, her toolkit were just so like, man, this really is fun to watch for me. So that was who I really kind of studied up on. And then there's also Phantom, who is not really in the circuit anymore, but is a Master Raven player. He said some pretty, I think I told you, he said some racist things when the Leroy trailer came out. He
okay, I think something else. Okay, no, something else. Please elaborate if you want.
Yeah. No, but I won't get into the tea on that. But I watched him. I don't know if he still plays or not. But there's also an old school Tekken 7 Master Raven player called Congo Jack, and I watched a lot of his Raven. Yeah, his was kind of the more intermediate to high level Master Raven, so I got to learn and really kind of advance my game through watching him play.
Jack. Okay, that's what's up, man.
Yeah. So there's quite a few.
Yeah, there's quite a few. And I remember from talking to you, man, like I said, it's not just for me, but it's also for the audience at large, too. I know I'm going to do a little prying here. I know that you didn't have the traditional character selection process. Like at the beginning, you mentioned that you played other characters, too. But right now, obviously, you're a Master Raven main. Isn't there an interesting way that you managed to land on Master Raven? I know you weren't playing them initially. Maybe somebody influenced you a little bit. I kind of remember a story, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to poke the body. Pause. They lurking in the chat, man. You know I gotta pause.
We go. Yeah, man, I'm gonna deny your claim right now. You know what I'm saying? Don't even bother sending it in the mail. It's just gonna get returned to sender. So, when I started Tekken 7, I tried to use Asuka. I tried to play as Elisa. I kind of experimented with all the characters, and I landed on Katarina, and that became like a really like fun character to play. Easy punishes, easy game. So coming from TT2 to MKX and now to T7, I picked it up kind of quickly. And so I thought, well, I should probably go to locals and test my mettle a little bit. And instead of going 0-2, I was now getting 2 wins. I was going even with things. So I wasn't getting further than top 8, but I was showing progress.
Right.
And as I was showing this if I could speak English, as I was showing this progress,
I got you.
I started engaging with some of the players in the community because they were like, hey, who is this J dude that, suddenly, kicking ass and taking names and beating, some of the lower level tournament players, but
they call me
definitely
Mr.
popping
K.
up. Yeah. And so that's when I got introduced to this chap named Phil, who goes by the name of Apocrypha. He showed up in your streams.
That's it.
And Apocrypha, so he's from the Philippines, and he lived in Australia most of his life. So he has a thick Australian English accent.
Okay.
And so he approaches me one day because we'd started talking about K-pop, and he was like, "Hey, you've been doing really good, Mike. If you'd like, I'd like to teach you some things about Tekken."
Okay.
And that's how we became. Yeah, and that's how we became. Students of the game. But he's more like a brother to me now. He just he taught me a lot of things about Tekken. He was the one that after, I think maybe like a year of learning Tekken underneath him, and that's, going to offline events and him discussing things with me after bracket matches and then playing online together, he told me one day, he was like, I think you've reached your limit with Katarina. I think it's time you get another character. And I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of in a crisis. What am I supposed to pick, right? Who do you go from Katarina, right? Especially where I am now and the knowledge I have with that, I didn't have that at that time. So I was like, I have no clue. I kind of wanted to quit Tekken and not play it anymore.
I feel that.
So
very frustrating, man.
It was very frustrating. I came up short. I came off of finally making top 8 at one of the offlines, but I lost to my bracket demon. And so it just felt like, okay, well, what am I doing? I wasted all this time. So he goes, well, you should play Master Raven. I think you should try Master Raven. And I was like, what the... This goofy dread-headed broad, what am I going to do with this? Like, that was what I responded with. It was a very prickly response, right? But I started experimenting with her toolkit and all the different options she has. And I don't know, it just kind of it clicked with my engineering brain. It took me a couple months to really get a hang for her style, but it clicked after that, and suddenly I was, having positive records. I was beating even stronger people, or at least putting up a fight. So suddenly people were like, "Hey, this guy's kind of serious." And so, Phil kept working more with me, and here we are now.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's a dope story, man. So it's like, kind of Master Raven just fell upon you, kind of, or maybe heavily suggested by somebody that you respect in the community.
Foisted upon me, yeah.
Dope, like, man. The Nubian Queen or the
here's your ebony goddess.
The ebony goddess. So, yeah, man. So now that you're playing Master Raven, on the spectrum, in your opinion, now I'm not talking about Lil Majins or JDCRs or Nia or whoever else. Your opinion compared to the rest of the cast, do you consider Master Raven to be strong? Do you think she's like at the upper echelon of the roster, lower, mid-level? Where do you think that she fits as far as like her toolkits, what she's capable of, and how she suits you? Like, what do you think she fits on that tier list?
If we go with her tools, she is an incredibly strong character, but she is what you would call an incredibly flawed character. So with the strengths, there's some obvious weaknesses compared to other characters in Tekken 7. With the current meta, blah 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 blah. I'd put her right at the cusp of cracking maybe top 7, maybe top 10 characters. She's not going to be breaking down characters like Devil Jin or Heihachi, Kazuya. These are all characters that have very high skill ceilings, but then have a lot of really great rewards for less trouble that Raven has to do. So those weaknesses of hers are what shove her down back behind top 10. If you ignore those and you just use just her strong tools, then she's great, but you end up having to take risks. And for those risks, most of these risky moves are negative 14 and more. So a lot of the cast can punish her very hard for doing them, which makes it even more incredible when you see people that are good with Master Raven. The problem is 95% of Ravens are not great. They take mad risks. Go Army would say something along the lines of, they play Mad Ham. They're fucking stupid.
You gonna do that just raw like that?
You're gonna do this raw like that?
Yeah. Suicide.
He would talk mad shit, and he's right. I mean, really, playing Master Raven is a lot like playing against Law. You just kind of let the Raven player hang themselves. If you see one that's subdued, that wants to really take their time, it's kind of scary, because that means they're at some point aware of the type of risks that character has. So now they're looking at what you're gonna do, what you gonna do. I'm not firing this cannon round yet, but if I screw it up, the cannon's gonna blow up in my face. That's
dope, man. So essentially, just to paraphrase what you're saying, that you think that she definitely has the capabilities to be towards the top, but there's enough room for you to have to be nuanced with her, and you have to be very skilled with her. So it's very fulfilling for you to use her. You doesn't feel like she just automatic, autopilot using her. So that's dope. I think that's dope, man. It gives you some fulfillment using her. And I know you mentioned other characters, man. Staying on the topic of characters, we're gonna get into some more, but first we're gonna take a short little break and get into some first of fives. You show me just exactly how good and or bad Master Raven is.
Let's do this.
Let's do it. All right, man. So we are in the lobby, man. I'm gonna get the first to 5 with my guy, Mr. J, and he could actually show us how good or bad his character is, man, and what he likes about it. So I'm still gonna ask you questions throughout the duration of the fight, if you're comfortable with that.
I will do my best to hear that.
Right, let's get right, man. And maybe that'll help alleviate some of the pressure off that butt whooping I might be in.
It can go either way. You've gotten a lot better, man. Don't take away from the work you've put into it and the amount of time that I've been watching your stream.
I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. So, also, with staying on the topic of characters, like we mentioned earlier, where we left off, your character, I understand that she was, like you said, suggested to you. And you told me how you feel about her relative to the rest of the cast. But with all that considered, what do you personally like about her? Like, I know did you overlook her at first, or once you started playing her, what do you feel like is what kept you playing her, I guess? What was intriguing to you?
I really didn't pay much attention to it. I was like, wow, she's pretty cool, but I just didn't give it any time of day. Katarina at that time was kind of the thing, and that's my girlfriend now, right? Master Raven's the waifu, but Katarina was the old flame, the old high school flame that, you still have a good relationship with. But her aesthetic was definitely one of the biggest factors. Seeing a cyber ninja, the fact that It wasn't Raven, which I really was not interested in Raven when it came to Tekken 5, Tekken 6, even Tekken Tag Tournament 2.
Well, for our new players, Raven was looked like Blade. He was like the male version of her, but that was in
that was Wesley Snipes. That was Wesley Snipes for sure. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Tax evasion, you know, whatever.
That's crazy.
But,
you ain't had to mention that. That's crazy. Hey, I wasn't prepared for this, Mr. Snipes. Don't do. Hey, that wasn't me.
Yeah, he show up and kill both of us, you know.
That wasn't me.
But yeah, her look, the move sets, I don't know. It was just so cool, especially this move, the 4-4-3. I love that move. That was my favorite move.
Which is easy to get like mid combo and stuff. It's very easy to get off axis, right? But sometimes it realigns, but a lot of times it doesn't, right? So that FF3 that is.
Ooh. Oh, low parry. Holy shit.
Low parry. Look at, I spun the wrong way. That's crazy.
Oh.
That's crazy, man.
Don't do that high.
Yeah, I really like Master Lady, man. She's a dope character. I really want to use her. He got me with the tech chat. That's crazy. I'm going to let him do that to me?
I screwed it up. That was my fault. I screwed it up. I sold.
Hey, nah, you good, man. So speaking of your character, right? I know that you consider your character to be pretty strong relative to the rest of the roster, as long as she's utilized correctly. Can you tell me some of the strengths of your character? Like whether it's moves.
So she has really good keep out tools.
Okay.
Has a lot of reach. There are characters that reach further than her. Like Lee is a great example of a character that just really can keep her out at will, basically, you know, back for her. So of characters that work really well at either outside of her range or closer than her can give her some fits. But she's got such good mix-up tools, but like I said, they're all risky.
Right.
But especially doing cartwheels, like that move. Oh my god. Being able to parry stuff like a damn ninja.
Yeah, that's fire.
Uh oh, second hit, yep. Turn. Oh.
Whoa, what the heck?
What the hell? Oh god.
What the heck?
I'm dead. I'm not dead.
Not dead, bro.
Not dead yet. I might be dead now.
Don't duck. Let's go. Oh, you broke it. Let's go.
I actually broke it. I can't believe.
So you think some of her biggest strengths are a keep out, which I fall victim to a lot, and I play aggressively.
Yeah.
And I get
She's good at whip punishment as well. She's very good at whip punishment.
Yeah, she has correct me if I'm wrong, like a 13 frame launcher or 12 frame launcher?
14 frame.
14 frame.
So
14 frame, okay.
A lot of big lows she could punish really well. Yeah. Wow, that reach. Nice confirm.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro.
To the wall, downstairs. Yeah, blue stuff.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Thank you, bro. Oh, Lord!
Oh, Lord!
Flame, that's crazy, bro! I did a power crash.
I'll throw it out there.
That's crazy. Good stuff.
Throw it out there.
Okay,
no
so speaking of that would hurt. I'm not gonna lie. Speaking of some of her strengths, right? What do you think is some of her weak points where she falls short at?
Definitely aggression. Her get off of me tools are not good. They're quite risky. Oh, we're going downstairs. Not yet. We're not. Oh,
I shouldn't have tried to confirm that one. Oh, good low parry. I've been doing that.
Looking scary.
Yeah, looking scary. He's gonna get the. Oh, he gonna get the floor break. You don't need the wall carry. Bumba. Oh Lord. Come on, you don't want to end it like this, Mr. J. You don't want to win.
What
this.
you talking about?
You
what you talking about?
That's a miss.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch some shit. Watch that shit. Watch that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie, man. That's my favorite rage art in the game. I don't like to be on the receiving end, but aesthetically, like you mentioned, I think Master Raven is one of the best looking characters in the game. I think Shaheen looks very dope as well. But rage art wise, her rage art is fire, man. I think her
rage art and her rage drive are some of my favorites. Yeah. The fact that one of the biggest weaknesses that Raven has when we talk about like the actual toolkit is she has no standing 15 frame launcher. Okay. So if moves that are exactly -15, she cannot launch them. So like Eddie can give her some problems with that. There's a couple key moves from several characters and matchups that are -15 and she cannot launch them. Okay, cannot.
So the only time is out of crouch then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, her 14 frames out of crouch.
Okay.
And technically, you can get that 14 framer to come out in the span of 15 or 16 frames out of crouch.
Okay.
It's incredibly difficult. It is
takes
not
some execution.
recommended. It is like impossible, at least with the game's mechanics right now.
Especially
So
online too.
yeah, you're not fucking doing it. You can, so like when we were talking about crouch cancels before,
Right.
you can crouch cancel into her 15 frames from block. So like a big stunt I could do is if I block a snake edge, I can crouch cancel into her forward 4, which is that big kick, the one that kind of like kicks you right in the chin and it kind of throws your head back onto the ground.
Right.
You can follow that up into rage drive or rage art. So she does have ways to connect, but obviously that kind of situation is dependent on having rage, right? But the risk is you're in rage, you only have a quarter health. You don't have the time or the health to give. For a character that can't deal with aggression, it's even more imperative to use those options.
Makes sense, man. All right, so speaking of those weaknesses and things like that, if you could, man, I'm gonna ask you to give me 3 moves. I want to limit it to just one. Let me ask you, if you have any 3 moves or 3 things from other characters and apply it to Master Raven, what would they be?
Oh my gosh, I would have a hatchet kick right off the gate. Give me a fucking low that's dangerous.
Right.
Because her lows are not. They're not very dangerous. They've got issues. A lot of them are negative enough to be launched. Give me a low that I can do with reckless abandon, and I will use it like crazy. A hatchet kick low with plus frames on it, because she's got this low, which is launch punishable.
Oh wow, really?
That low, which is this low is negative 15.
Oh wow.
That low is negative. That's the only safe one. It's this little kick right here, but it's stubby, super stubby.
Right.
Negative 14 low here, so a lot of people learn how to block that one. She does have, not that unblockable, sorry. She does have this low, that's negative as well. So yeah, her low game isn't very good. She has QCF2, which is that.
Right.
But again, you block it, you're getting launched. Know what I'm saying?
That's true. All right.
So I'd say a good low.
So a hatchet kick. What else?
I'd like to see a complete throw game out of her. Give me a 2 throw.
That'd be crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Can you imagine that?
That'd be crazy.
Like she gets some like Azuna drop for her second throw. That would be just disgusting. Another air throw, an abusable low, and give her a 15 frame launcher. That's really all I think she would need.
Okay.
I don't. And as a fourth, which most Raven players accept for this, would be fixing her frame consistency with a lot of moves. Like Vampire Knee is a great move, but there are many moves that will crouch it, which is just crazy. So it shouldn't be like that. Damn, nice combo.
Thank you, bro. So okay,
oh shit.
So one more thing. What I was gonna say before that, low parry. Oh my gosh, good stuff. So Julia is my main. That's all I've been using as a new player. I just stuck with Julia because I picked her for personal reasons, and I really enjoyed Julia. But and I get some heat for it because she's wherever she's at in a lot of people's tiers, which I didn't know about. But I know you said that I have a 15 frame launcher. I think from Raven, what I would like to have, if I could, anything from Raven, I do like her haze and stuff like that, and her deceptiveness with her moves.
Yeah, I wish there was more to it, and especially with her back turn mix-ups, I wish there was more to it. It's very easy to disrespect her frames. The nerf that they did to her back turn armor really kind of spayed her back turn pressure. It made it much easier to kind of just mash at it, right? There's not a huge amount of fear factor with it if you have a good mid. Even sometimes just a dick jab is enough to stop her out of her back turn pressure. So knowing that, I would love to see some really cool things with that if they bring her back in Tekken 8.
Yeah, hopefully she's included, man. Hopefully she's in Tekken 8. That'd be a bummer if she's not, man, because
she's a beautiful character.
Yeah. After I'm done with Julia, I want to play Master Raven. I also want to play Negan. And speaking of those characters too, like I said, Julia to compare to Master Raven, I dabbled with her for a little bit. I wouldn't even say it was anything significant, but how do you feel that they compare? How do they compare and contrast with each other? As far as is there any similarities, or is it mostly differences between Julia and Master Raven in particular?
Executionally, they both require a degree of skill. You cannot just pick this character up and start winning right out the gate. The only way you're going to win is when people aren't very familiar with playing against this character. That's the only way you're going to win. Once you deal with people that know what you want to do, it becomes difficult. The difference being, though, is that Julia has very good poking tools. She can be in your face. She can back off. You get a lot of nice counter hit options. She's a pretty complete character without a lot of the weaknesses that Raven has. So, in a way, Raven is kind of she's kind of envious of Julia. Maybe she goes to the same organization and is like, that environmental bitch is back.
Just mad, just angry.
Yeah, just mad. Like, she's back with the conservation issues. Like,
right.
Oh my God.
I had to throw it out there,
you
bro.
would.
Hey, that was too much pressure, bro. That was too much pressure, so I had to get you up off me. I had to back up off me.
I thought you weren't gonna do it.
So what do you feel? So what do you feel is So what is your game plan when fighting most Julias, like myself or others? Like, what is your game plan going into it? What do you want to take away from her? What do you feel like is her best? Is Julia's best move that gives you the most that you're most apprehensive about, most worried about, concerned about?
Party Crasher. Party Crasher by far. Uh-oh, that's the one throw. I forgot that one.
Thank you.
Don't do the high. I knew you were going to do high. Do it again.
So FF1?
FF1, her lows, especially bow and arrow, can give Raven some problems. Because with Raven, if you notice with her backdash, right, just looking at it, she's got a very wide stance. Right. That from the very nature of hitboxes gives her the negativity to be hit by more lows than other characters. So she gets tagged by lows a lot, and that's not like that's not a failure of the Master Raven player. Master Raven just has a humongous low hitbox.
Okay.
Which sucks.
All right.
Oh, good. I thought you were gonna finish it. Oh, you dashed back.
Hey, I tried to, man. I was late punish on that block. I mean, on that duck. Yeah.
I saw you trying it again. Uh-oh.
I tried, bro. So, what I was gonna ask next. So you want to negate Julia's Party Crasher? How would you go about doing that as a Master Raven player?
It's a dangerous proposition because that low has. I'm sorry, that elbow. Yeah, you almost tied it. That elbow has so much utility, and it comes out, really fast. So you have to be careful with that. So staying out in the neutral, not letting Julia come in and dictate the pace. So it's trying to force your options, but you have really learned a lot. So even your pacing is different.
Thanks,
like, I have to be very mindful of things.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I know that one is that negative.
Oof.
I got under it.
Whoa! That low crusher, what happened?
That low crushed.
That's crazy.
It's the same thing. I can do that to Hwarang's backlash. I can crush that out of Hayes stance.
That's crazy. I didn't even know what happened, bro. I didn't even know what happened, bro.
Excuse me. So Party Crasher is always the big thing. I have to make sure I'm on top of my punishes to try to get my turn back, because Julia can continuously bully Raven, especially at the wall. It becomes a huge danger because, again, her get off me tools, she has some good ones, but they come at a cost, right? None of her armors are safe. Her forward armor that's not out of back turn, it's -14, so you can get a real hefty sides punish for doing it. Her 114, again, -14, and she's back turned.
Right.
And there's inconsistencies in the 1-1 part where she's going like, There's a gap in there where the first part of it'll miss. So you see what I'm saying? There's imperfections to her gameplay. That's why for a lot of Raven players, their biggest want for the character is to fix her hitboxes. To if she got that would solve a lot of her problems.
Yeah, I know a lot of times they complain about, like you said, with the that and then the realignment during combos.
Yeah,
I have that same issue with Julia. At least I feel like, man, and
I have seen hitbox issues with Julia where I'm like, damn, I feel for P. That sucks.
Oh my gosh, man. And then the inconsistency with the FF1 for me, that might be more so of me and my execution more than anything. But geez, man, that messes me up, bro. But
it's enough to drive you insane, or in this case, for as both of us know, get pissed off.
Yes, bro.
This fucking game's bullshit. I'm playing this no more.
Yes, man.
I'll play it for 14 more hours.
14 more hours, right? Talking all that trash.
That's a good check for the armor. See what I'm saying? So even though that armor is there, I thought you were gonna do one more.
Yeah, I should have.
Oh god. Yeah, that back turn. Yeah, me trying to go back turn, I missed.
Yeah, man.
I missed.
I know, like, when I'm trying to fight Master Raven, man, like a player like yourself, or like you mentioned, Go Army, and I'm mostly concerned about just, like you said, just a keep out, man. Every time I try to approach, and I'm very aggressive. Every time I try to approach, man, like, oh, I don't know how that hit. I don't know how I hit you on that, but I'll take it. It's like when I'm trying to approach you, it's like, man, I could get caught, you know, in a launcher, you know, trying to come in and stuff. So I don't know, but I really like Master Raven, man. And the way you, oh Lord, and the way you use her, bro, I didn't mean to do that.
You meant to do that.
Let's go. Bang bang.
I just shut up. How about that?
Oh my Lord, man, that's so funny.
Okay, good low.
Thanks. Good block.
Nice bow and arrow.
Thank you, bro. Oh, interrupt. Whoa!
Whoa!
What the? You see that? Looking like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, man. What the heck? All these acrobats.
That's the fun part. That's the fun part of Tekken. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I dashed in your face. For no reason.
Oh, good move.
There's the follow-up. Boom. That's the 15 frame. That's the 15 frame. And that's what I can crouch cancel into, which is super sick. Oh, God.
Right.
Oh.
Now, I'm not gonna lie, that one I just threw out there. Just to see. Whoa! Whoa!
What the fuck? What the fuck?
The cameraman got a corona, man. You see it?
I could be dead.
I missed!
No, you missed.
Bumba!
Oh my God. Me don't want none. Don't want to win, do the victory.
Bro, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man.
Ass up.
Yes, put that ass in the air for y'all boy.
For your boy.
For y'all boy.
Oh God.
Him up.
That's a 1, isn't it? No, wait.
That's a 1
oh,
plus
shit.
2. That's 1 plus 2.
That's a 1 plus 2.
Yeah. Oh! I tried to
do it again.
Oh my gosh!
That'll catch you sidestepping.
I tried to walk it, bro. I tried to walk it, man.
I was getting anxious. I should have just waited. I should have waited.
Right.
Should have waited. Wasn't being paciente.
No patience, man. No patience. But now you exhibit a lot of patience. Demonstrate a lot of patience. That's one of the things that I pick up from you when watching you. Whether you're in rank or whether you're on the stream playing in private fight nights or tournament, you usually play very consistently. You know, regardless of what's going on in the match or who you're playing. So that's very admirable and dope, man. Also, from my standpoint, fighting a Raven player, Master Raven player, it doesn't have to be from Julie or whatever, but like from your opposition standpoint, what do you think that they should do? What's their best approach to defeat you on Master Raven?
Raven, first of all, you have to understand the character as far as the moves that are coming out at you and what to punish, what to look for, because if you don't, you're going to have a bad time. You know, there's certain characters that you can kind of just deal with. You kind of understand what they're about. Raven is definitely a little more nuanced than that. Right. So if you don't know what's going on, it's like a nightmare time because you're like, I don't understand what's happening right now. Right. I'm just being hit. There's ninja shit on the screen. What the fuck am I doing?
Right.
I remember one time, one dude got really angry at me at an offline. He was like, "This black Naruto bitch."
That's crazy.
Yeah, he was so mad.
That's crazy, bro.
He was like super heated about it, and I was like, dude, I told him like in a nice, friendly manner. Oh, what do you want to learn? I'll show you whatever you want to learn. Right. Like, you don't need to be butthurt about the character.
Right. Oh, I did not. I meant to do DF3. I did not mean to do that. That was a misinput.
But watching what she's doing, and it's a twofold thing, because one of the deeper levels of Raven players is watching what your opponent is doing and kind of tailoring your approach to that, which is a general Tekken 7 or at least a fighting game thing, right?
Right.
But Master Raven is even more important because her tools have very specific purposes, and if you just start
secret?
throwing them out all willy-nilly,
Right. You get caught.
you're gonna get hurt a lot. So it's really looking at your opponent, and the same thing applies to dealing with her. If you're paying attention to what the Raven player is doing, you can start fighting back. You can start eliminating her offense. You can start looking at, if they're not breaking throws, are they approaching weird?
Whoa! What?
I call that a Mr. J special. I've done that to people before.
That's mad hell.
Oh, that's a good whip punish. That's a good whip
bro.
punish.
Thank you, bro.
If your punishment and observational skills are on deck, then the character becomes less of a problem. But a lot of people get really upset about playing her. It's like the more you get upset, the worse you do, which is a classic. You and I are both guilty of it.
Yep, absolutely.
Man. For every time where we've been savage, we've also gotten our asses kicked too. So it's a really shitty cake, right? You're like, I love Tekken, but then you get whooped.
Right. Ooh, that hit me, bro. I thought that was gonna whiff. I tried to whip before you caught me. Good stuff.
We call that nip the tip.
Nip the tip. That's crazy.
Nip the tip. Oh shit! I didn't think you were gonna do the second hit. The balls. The balls. Oh, you dropped it though.
I dropped it, man.
Oh, I thought about punishing that one.
Oh. You know I tried to do
parry,
rising too,
looking
and
scary.
Low parry looking scary. You definitely gonna get okay. Ooh, I thought it was gonna be a low. Good stuff.
Oh, you looked at it again.
Looked at it again.
I didn't think you would. See, like that sequence right there, up forward 4-4. If you had blocked that second hit, that second hit is negative 16. It is hella negative. That is launchable as shit, dude.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Hey, the more you know, man. And that one grab that you were doing, I thought she only has a 1 and a 1+2 grab. She has a 2 grab as well.
She does. No, she does not. I wish she did. That's on my
you
Christmas list.
You wanted the full.
But
I pushed 1 the first time, it didn't break. I was like, that's not a 1+2. I pushed 1+2 the second time, still got caught. So maybe I just didn't hit the window in time. But also speaking of that, man, you said what you wanted on your wish list, man. As far as a full throw game, so we know some of her weaknesses and stuff like that. You said you want to hatch your kick. But what about your weaknesses from a personal level when it comes to the game? What do you? Because we're about being proactive and being productivity, man. How are you working towards improving upon those weaknesses, and what weaknesses do you have that you can identify? What do you
being at the age that I'm at, the lovely age of 36 rotations around the sun now. Thank you.
Yes,
your reactions are not the same as you were as a 20-year-old, know. And I'm playing people that, I was in high school when they were just born.
Right. Hey, man.
Cool, good sidestep there.
Strong, man. Good stuff.
So some of that is coming down with like a route memorization, practice. Also, keeping my emotions in check. I think that's definitely one of my bigger weaknesses is getting mad and being that way.
Right. Whoa, why?
I don't know why that missed.
Yeah, I don't know why either, but, whatever.
I'm gonna go high. Oh god, that hit.
But yeah, man.
So my emotions, keeping practice up, trying to trying to be consistent in this game is really hard, and sometimes I think we're all kind of guilty of this, where we're looking at stuff that the opponent's doing and we're not really paying attention to it. It's like, why the fuck is this happening? Well, if you'd look a little closer, you could see why. Maybe it's not necessarily something that you're doing wrong, but something that you're just not looking at, something you're not paying attention to.
Oh, I thought I could interrupt that. So when you are looking at that though, like, what do you so how are you doing to kind of, I guess, reduce?
How to bridge that?
Yeah. Not even that, but also reduce your anger towards the game or your disappointment towards the loss, or what I'm saying, how you do, what are you doing to deal with that? Maybe be more analytical towards the matches instead of
Yeah. So where I'm at with Tekken now, I still brush up on character matchups. I still use the lab. Every day I'll poke around with some things and do kind of a specific regimen to try to get my brain flowing with it. It's kind of like doing like word or math games on a Nintendo DS. You try to keep your brain sharp.
Right.
But I think in order to deal with some of the weaknesses that most of us have, which a lot of it is mental, I believe it's about setting the intention of what it is you're doing, and some of that comes into what are you doing with the moves that you're using as the character you're playing as. What are you trying to lead to get there? Right?
Makes sense.
Like, say Julia's Party Crasher. What are you looking at? Yeah, what are you looking at with that move, right?
Let me interrupt you right there, Mr. J. We go dive into that a little bit more. We're gonna take this quick commercial break, and we're gonna get right back to it. Go with that thought for your boy. Appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.
All right, and you were saying about Julian. Go ahead and finish your thought.
Why do you use Party Crasher?
Right.
What's your reasoning behind it, right? I mean, because for a lot of people when they play Tekken and they first start getting good at it, it's being under the assumption that you want to hit the opponent, you want to win. Well, how are you going to get there, right? Against another opponent? How do you bridge that gap where your opponent knows your character? They know what you're doing, right? How do you get beyond that? So you have to learn about the intention of that move. Why are you using that particular low? What are you trying to lead to get your opponent to respond in a manner that's beneficial for you? Maybe you're doing dash ups and your opponent keeps reacting with hop kicks. That's a really good intention. How did you get to that point? I think once people start setting that intention, and I do that a lot, it keeps your mind focused. It keeps your mind on the goal, which is to learn about that, so you stop being mad. And that's really helped me tremendously, is having the mental intention and even like a verbal intention, like, we want to win, but you want to be able to say that you understood why you won, right? If it's just you flailed out buttons. And why you lost. That's exactly right. Because if you play Tekken for any length of time and you say you don't like losing, then this is not going to be the game for you. You're going to spend a lot of time being unhappy.
That's a fact.
And I've met many a player that have come and gone in Tekken because they wanted to win so bad, and that was the most important part, that any losses were devastating every single time. And it's like, you see them at offline events, you see them at locals, and they're raining on everything. Man, I fucking suck, man. I went 1 and 2 and bullshit. I'm not playing Tekken no more. I'm gonna go play Apex or something. And it's like, dog, you still did great. You lost to another high caliber player, and that's okay. You got pissed off. That's on you. Come back stronger. That's okay. It is not a linear path with this game, and I've had multiple occasions of being frustrated. I had a kind of a incident with somebody at one of the locals who was sitting next to me at another station, and I was losing, and I kind of bumped into his stick. Now, to be fair, this guy had a fucking keyboard, like a Yamaha sized keyboard for an arcade stick. This thing was like 5 feet long, and so I bumped into his stick with my elbow because I was like, fuck. I bumped into his stick. Pause. That claim's already approved. I'm just saying. And he got mad at me. He was like, excuse me. He looked and was like, excuse me. And so I was like, what? You shouldn't have your stick right next to me. We had a little exchange.
Mr. J, come on now. You're doing this on purpose now.
No, I'm for real. I had a not bright moment. And so it ended with tension. There wasn't like any, physical exchange or anything like that. But, I apologized to him later that evening. And, after that, it just happens, so being able to control that, because getting angry and lashing never does anybody any good. And so but we are all human, and we are all on a path where we're going to make mistakes. So
that's a fact.
Dealing with my weaknesses, kind of to summarize that, I would say dealing with pressure can be kind of hard because it's a consistency thing. And from my competitive background, I thought, well, I played soccer. I've played in front of 3,000 people before, and been to semi-pro and professional games, and got to meet players, and felt pretty ballin'. But Tekken gave me such a different rush of emotions, nervousness, because it's you. There is nobody else like in a soccer team where you can rely on 10 other guys.
Right.
So it brought a lot of things to the forefront for me. Yeah, so it's all you. Dealing with the emotions, dealing with the pressure, making proper decisions. You know, a lot of times when you start losing, we naturally want to do something big to bring that life back. And Raven has a lot of tools to make big reads, but a lot of them are super punishable. So learning how to keep your wits about yourself even when making those decisions. Throw breaking was a big weakness of mine for a long time. I could not break throws for shit.
Yeah, I've been trying to improve upon that.
Yeah, it's only been in the past like 2 or 3 years, and you know, we're talking about I played Tekken 7 since it came out. So 2015, I'm just now in the past couple of years really getting the hang out of throw breaking.
So like you said, it's a long process, and a lot of times it's not linear, man.
And I'm literally training it from hands. Goddamn, it is a process, all right, like a process, you know. So those would be my weaknesses.
Yeah, okay, man. But yeah, it sounds like you're working on those, and a lot of those we work on together. And like I said, you helped me a lot throughout the chat, throughout my Tekken journey, so I appreciate that.
It's an honor and a pleasure, man. I enjoy it. I enjoy helping you out.
For sure, man. I appreciate that. Also, what are your, we're about to start taking fielding some questions from the chat, but before we get to that, what are some of your hobbies that you have or interests outside of Tekken, if there are any? And if you want to speak on like some of the things that you have, like I know you're a father, a proud father. If you want to get into that, anything that she's doing and anything that you do outside of work. I know you said you used to do Zumba. I'm pretty sure you're still a little active, moving those, swaying those hips. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Take care of your cat, so go ahead.
So that's actually one of my favorite things to do. On top of lifting weights, I'm back into working out and lifting weights again. But I love dancing. I love showing up to like dance aerobics classes. You know, not just Zumba. I was actually for a while I was going to this dude who's from where is he from? I think he said he was from Nigeria, but he does Afro style cardio dance. Oh wow! So I was learning Afro style dancing. I mean, the dude's name is Ade, and he is a monster at dancing. So I would go to his classes. It'd be full with 30, 40, sometimes even 50 people showing up to his class.
That's what's up, man.
I attend those classes. Like I said, I did have a Zumba licensure, which was fun in and of itself. But I don't have the time to teach, but I love lifting and I love dancing. I am a avid collector of statues, and I'm stuck on one collection right now, which is the DC Bombshell statues. So if you look those up, those are like 40s, 50s pinup girl style of DC female characters. So check that out. I love that statues. I've got some from Kota Bukaya. I have one here next to me that I have when I'm on stream. This is my SSJ4 Goku, or I'm sorry,
that's Gogeta, right?
Not Goku. This is Gogeta. Come on, man. And this is one of my most favorite statues. I love this thing. I got it on sale at GameStop for like $20. It chills next to me. So whenever I want to get into the spirit of Tekken, this is one of my favorite characters from I know Dragon Ball GT was ass, but
it was. But
you can't tell me seeing SSJ4 wasn't cool.
Super Saiyan 4 transformation was awesome, bro. Like there's a lot of takeaways. I like Pan. I know it's unpopular, but it's funny that you mentioned about the Nigerian gentleman that you knew that teaches the dancing class. I'm Nigerian, and it's just funny just to go back on what you said about that lady that said, "Oh, it's your black side that got you dancing." I'm Nigerian.
Oh my God!
Dancer. I can't dance, so I guess I'm pretty black and proud, man. I missed that part of it. I missed that part of my ethnicity. So
hey, I'll tell
I'm
you
Nigerian and Jamaican, man. So that's dope.
It couldn't. I didn't get it from my dad. Yeah, because my dad is black and he don't dance.
Right.
Like the most I've seen him dance is with his arm, and he was like doing the dust off your shoulders, brush off. That's the best he could do. He is not a dancer.
But we got it. We got it.
The rest of the family's got it, but he's not the one that got it. Okay, he's he's a regal man. He dresses real nice, like Jadena level dress nice. I mean, he's a very sophisticated man.
Classic man.
Yeah, he just don't dance. He sits there and he don't smile at pictures, shit like that. You know what I'm saying? I pick at him about that every time. But so dance has always kind of been a part of my life. Soccer. I played soccer throughout my life. Collecting a lot of statues, cats, but I grew up with a lot of different animals. I had dogs growing up, parakeet, fish. I've I think at one time I even convinced my parents to keep a crawdad.
That's what's up, man.
And then it got out, like it was in the closet. The shit was crazy. I do have a 16-year-old daughter, so that's been kind of my main. I would say it's a hobby, but I'm a dad, so you do what you got to do. You know, shout out to all the
your baby. That's a hobby, man. It's a hobby and a passion. Let's get right.
And she's got our passions as well. She actually does really enjoy Tekken. She used to come with me to a lot of offline events, so she would sign up and play. She wants to get back into it, but she's doing other things that I want her to focus on, and she should. She's big on choir. She also is a. She goes to a jazz ensemble and learns how to do solo songs. And, you know, she did a song last semester at a bar, and she got a standing ovation from all the people there. Yeah, she's good. She's really good.
Of what was it?
It was Billie Holiday's Crazy He Calls Me. She did a rendition of that, and it gave me goosebumps. This is, somebody who I've raised from all her life, and
proud pappy moment.
Seeing her stand up, oh my God, yeah, I cried. I'll admit it.
I'm talking about, man. Ain't no shame in that, man. Shout out to all the great parents out there, man. Shout out to the good fathers that taking, good mothers that taking, and all that, man. That's dope. That is fire, man.
Kids, well, at least a kid. Thank God, I don't want any more. I'm gonna get snipped some point in my life this year.
You got that vasectomy, bro?
I'm gonna get the V.
Oh, you're not serious.
Pause on that.
No kids. You're only serious if you're getting that vasectomy, bro. If you got that vasectomy, I hear you. If not, you're just waiting for the right moment. I'm getting
snipped. Yeah, no, I'm getting too old.
I'm playing. I ain't put that on you. I'm playing.
I don't want to be that old head at grade school. Like, whose grandpa is that?
Yeah,
like, no, that's her dad. Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not. Yeah. That's not my life. That's not my life. But
God bless you one day. That's probably how I'm gonna be. But now we're gonna field some questions from the chat, man. The only one of the few that I see is from my guy Yui Stacks, man, who has been on here as a guest, or he will be on here. You'll see his episode coming up in the future after this one.
Yeah, I was watching that this afternoon. That was a nice set.
Appreciate it.
It was a nice podcast.
Yes, sir. He said, how difficult was it for you to get used to Raven, since you did come from Katarina, I believe?
Oh my gosh.
Good question.
So it was kind of like, learning engineering. Really, there's so many tools she has and so many specific scenarios to use them. Right. Katarina took me maybe a month to really get a good feel. Okay. Raven took me close to half a year. And I'm not like a super fast learner. Right. I mean, I'll invest time and learn stuff. It really took me a long time to get a good feel for how to play her.
Right. She's one of the more complicated characters too, like you alluded to before. So
her move list is very diverse. A lot of her moves do have utility, but in certain scenarios, situations, you have to be really aware of those things with her to maximize her potential.
Right. Hey, good question, Stacks. Okay, so we have another one coming in from King David 911, man. Mr. J, if you could only choose a heavyweight character, large, that being large, a large character, who would it be and why?
Yo, you're never gonna guess who
if you say Marduk, I'm ending the interview right now.
No. That's the way. Okay, so you know how I told you about my idol was Tishumon. Then later that turned into like Go Attack and Pinya, which I actually got to meet Pinya at Combo Breaker last year. That was real cool.
That's the Raven player from
Japan.
Japan, right? Yeah,
Japan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar.
You know, and I've got a little funny story with that, and then I'll get to my character because I bet King David won't be able to guess which one I really enjoy. When I met Pinya, I introduced myself and said, hey, I'm a Master Raven player. I love watching you play. You're very inspirational to me. Can I have a picture with you? Right. And he was, real quiet because he's this little tiny little Japanese dude. He was like, yeah, sure. And so I hand a buddy of mine my phone to take a picture, and at first, Pinya just holds up, a little peace sign like this. Right. So I'm like, I'm gonna do that, but then something with my other hand. So I'll put the picture up in Discord. Right. I have my peace hand up like this, and then for some reason I put my other hand up in a fist, and I was like, yeah. And you could see in one of the pictures my friend took, Pinya looked at me and was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. You could see he was like, what? So, and that's the picture I have is him looking at me like, excuse me, he's got a whole face mask on.
On you, bro. You better be careful.
For real. He made fun of me about it. He was like, I like this. This is so cool.
Yeah, he probably went TGO Master Raven on your head.
I was like, you bitch.
In real life, hey, you better be careful.
But It was a
That's
good
funny.
moment. It was a good moment. But so like one of the guys I really like to watch ended up switching to Marduk, and that made me sad.
Yeah.
That was Tishumon. He still plays
Okay.
Raven, but he picked up Marduk. I do not like Marduk, for the record. Fuck that angry, W-headed, four-headed motherfucker. I hate that character. That is one of my least favorite
number
characters
one.
to deal with. Yeah. Number one, my nuts, Marduk.
Right.
That's all I gotta say. Gigas.
Gigas, okay.
Gigas is a guilty pleasure for me. Hitting people with 1-2, his main 10-frame Punisher, is my favorite thing.
That's a good Punisher too. He has like the
just
best 1-2 Punisher in the
nail-
game, correct?
It's one of the best 10 frames in the game.
Yeah.
It wall splats. You know, the only other character that has a wall splatting 10 frame is Heihachi. I think a couple others might, but some of them are just frames.
Those are the
Blah
most
blah blah blah.
prominent ones. Okay, most known for.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Okay, so Gigas, man, hold on. Now, you say you play Katarina? Doesn't Katarina have some type of relation or affiliation to Gigas?
There's some sort of familial connection between her and
something.
Gigas.
Okay.
And they never really get into it. It's kind of
Okay.
open-ended.
Okay.
Like they don't really elaborate on what it is.
Okay.
So there's some sort of connection. I'd love to see Katarina back. I'd love to see Katarina back for Tekken 8. That would be really cool. Like give her some really cool hairier transitions, just like what we saw with Lars, right? They show they have the capacity to make those
Right.
very creative.
That's true.
They
That's
could really
true.
do something nasty with that.
That's
you know,
true, man.
that's
That'd
it.
be
Gigas
fire, man.
is like an adoptive father. So it's not a
Adoptive
familial
father,
thing,
okay.
but it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
You know.
you got brought into the family, you adopted, so hey. Yeah, so that's dope, man. I think that was it for the questions, man. I just want to thank you once again for joining us, man. You are big episode number 2 on the podcast, man. Pride Talks with the Doc. Such a pleasure having you, man. Such a pleasure getting to make your acquaintance, and now have that acquaintance transform into a friendship, man, brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm
Yes, sir.
very
Already,
happy to
man.
be
Thanks
here.
for
I'm
being
happy to be
here.
a part of it. I'm more than happy to shoot bullets at the ignorant ass people that show up in your chat.
Oh man, thank you,
Oh
bro.
my God.
Hey, Mr. J Mod on the way. Hold on. That's what it sound like, chat.
I get so sick of people being like, "When did Busta Rhymes start streaming?"
Bro,
Like, dude,
bro.
gargle a chainsaw. Stop. Stop.
Gargle chase. I like that, man.
Stop.
Kick rocks with no shoes on. What are you talking about?
Yeah, kick rocks with no shoes on. Walk on glass. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
I appreciate it,
Ass
bro.
backwards. You know.
man. But for every 100 of them, man, all it takes is 1 or 2 real good people that you get to know, and that nullifies all that stuff, man. So they in one ear, out the other, man, and good people like you and many other good ones I have in the chat, man. They definitely surpass that, and you know what I'm saying. Don't even make me remember that. I
am honored to be a part of the community and help out with commentating when I can.
Yes,
Like I said,
sir.
I've got I do have a kid to take care of. I do take her back and forth to places, but when I can, I try to participate as much as
It's
possible.
always a pleasure having you, man. Yes, sir, man. Thank you
very much
again.
for having
Hey,
me.
man,
Thank
my
you.
pleasure, man. I'm gonna get you back on. I'm a 5-1 you this time. So don't
All right,
go too
we'll
far.
see about that. You might have to
opinion
sign
gonna
steal
pull
to
up.
deliver that one. We'll see. We'll see. All right,
Oh,
I
get
see you.
Pinky
I'm
to
gonna keep
help
drinking
you,
my
man.
water. All right, we'll level up. We'll talk to G6
Yes, sir.
about that. You'll have your people call my people.
Call your people. We gonna set something up. All right, that sounds like a bet, man. Thank you for taking the time out to join us again, man. And yeah, we out, chat. Peace.
Peace.
Yes, sir. Enjoy what you just saw? Click on this playlist for more of my online matches and battles against the hardest CPU. Follow my other socials as well. Don't forget to like the video.